Hello and welcome to Regen, the e-racing podcast. I'm your host Deano, and today on the show we'll be looking back at the first 6 races and how the Formula E season is progressing. The drivers, the teams, are they doing well? Are they fading back into the rest of the pack? And I'm also going to be joined by Tom from E-Prix Talk. Hello, Tom.
Hey, Dean. How's it going?
Good. I'm recovering from a cold, but I thought it would be cool to catch up and have a chat before Rome and see how the drivers and the teams are faring before the European League of the season.
Yeah, Rome's the next race, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. First of all, if you're new to the show, we do something called Media of the Week, which is just something we've been listening to, playing, watching, anything. So I've been watching Spider-Man Homecoming recently. Yeah, I really enjoyed it as a standalone movie. A little bit different. Peter Parker's very young. I think he's 14 in the movie, or 15. And it's a very sort of origin story of how he sort of he gets offered to join the Avengers. Spoilers. But
I think you're safe. It came out 2017.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you're a fan, you probably watched it by now. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I think it's a really good movie, and it sort of leads on to there being another one. So yeah, recommend it. Check it out. Do you have a media of the week, Tom?
Just Spider-Man. Now, since you brought it up, I really enjoyed it too. Homecoming. I thought it was really great. One of the best parts of this version of Spider-Man on the movie theaters or the movie cinematic universe interpretation of Spider-Man is I think that they took the best of the 1960s version of Spider-Man and the 2000 aughts version of Spider-Man, which I don't know how big a nerds your comic book or how big a comic book nerds your listeners are, but back in the year 2000, Marvel launched a separate Marvel universe from the original one that was birthed in the 1960s by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and kind of reinterpreted the characters for the times and relaunched Spider-Man, the Avengers, and the X-Men in their own little separate modern universe. And they changed a few things here and there, and some characters' alignments changed. Maybe somebody who might have been more of a neutral character or a good guy character became a bad guy character. But their interpretation of Spider-Man was really great. It's what I read as a kid when I was like 16 years old going through high school. And I really enjoyed the film because it was more like the comic book that the Spider-Man that I knew growing up than the last 2 iterations were that we got with the original Spider-Man movies by Sam Raimi. And I'm not sure who wrote and directed the other Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans, but I only watched the first one. I didn't even watch the second one with Jamie Foxx and as Electro, and I don't remember who played the Rhino, but most of my friends told me it wasn't worth going to see, so I didn't go see it.
Right. Now, you obviously know a lot, so do you have a comic book podcast?
I do.
Right. We can plug that at the end of the show. Okay,
But yeah, huge Spider-Man fan. Yeah, I love Spider-Man. So
cool. All right, this is a racing podcast. So we'll go into the Jaguar I-Pace E Trophy. What are your thoughts on that as a support series thus far?
I think it's great. I mean, I think it's great for Jaguar too. It's great publicity, and I think they need a support series. I think they needed that. I don't think they really. I mean, other than, did they really have anything in seasons 1, 2, and 3?
No.
I didn't. Didn't they have something with like parade laps with electric cars or something? Maybe just prior to the grid.
Oh, yeah, but yeah. I think there was a bit few and far between.
Have you been able to watch the support series races? Are those online?
Yeah, yep. So they're on the Jaguar website on Facebook.
Okay. Oh, and it's free.
Mainly, yeah. So it's streaming. Yep.
Okay, I'll have to. I actually haven't. I've seen some highlights, but I haven't really watched any of this, like a full support series race yet.
In New Zealand, it's really easy to watch Formula E. So there's a free-to-air channel, and it's also online that covers it. So you just go on to Duke and then have a look at the listings, and yeah, you can watch it all for free.
That's awesome.
It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I work at a hospital, and sometimes we have some downtime, so it's nice when I can pull something up that I don't have time to watch it live on the weekend because I tend to be pretty busy. I do a lot of different podcasts and other things that take up a lot of my time. So I try to, if I have a down moment at work, like I'll throw up a quick race or something like that, or something that I can still work, and then also have it on in the background and kind of pay attention to. So IMSA is great for that because the races are so long. So I can just have it off to the side playing, and I can do what I'm doing. And then also, like, if anything exciting happens, I can stop and kind of give my attention toward the race. So, but I'm definitely keeping, like, it's great. This day and age that we live in now, I feel is awesome because you can really follow so many different racing series, where when I was younger, it was like Formula One and Indy cars because, that's what was really in NASCAR, but I never really got into NASCAR. But that's what was available to the American public here, through Speed Channel and networks like that. So,
okay, well, just on IndyCar quickly, how have you been following it, and what do you think of Felix Rosenqvist for his first few races?
I have been following it. He performed brilliantly in the first race in St. Petersburg, Florida. I think he finished, I want to say, third. So I think he was on the podium. The last two races haven't gone as well for him, but I think the last race that I watched was the Birmingham race, which is a proper road course. But he seems to be doing really well on the street tracks, which there's a lot of them in the IndyCar series. So I think he's going to do really well as long as he keeps himself out of trouble. It's really easy to get yourself in trouble in IndyCar and get collected and knocked out of the race. So, but I'm really excited for this year's Indy 500 with Alonso coming.
And a McLaren team, there's a lot of racing on. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it really is. I've been looking forward to him coming back since he entered back in, what was it, 2017? Yeah, 2017. And he performed really well. And I think he's got a good chance to win this year. And he's got a Chevy motor instead of a Honda motor, so I think he'll have better reliability.
Well, for our Formula One listeners, that's pretty obvious. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Poor guy, man. He is such a great racing driver, and he's had such bad luck with equipment over the years. And I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we see him back in Formula One if McLaren get competitive again in the next 3 or 4 years. But, I mean, there's a very small window of time for that, so
yeah,
I don't know.
And I think they'll come good. But we should move on into looking at the Formula E drivers. So we're just going to rate their performances over the last wee while. Now, we'll start at the bottom. No points. In 23rd, Tom Dillman. I've really been a fan of Tom, and I really enjoyed his drives at Venturi last year, and he just slotted in perfectly. Now, with Neo, he's struggling a bit. Do you think that's because of the car, or is it just something not gelling with him and Neo?
I think the car is definitely not very competitive this year. I don't know how much it is Tom, per se. And I think also it's hard to motivate yourself when the car is that uncompetitive, I would imagine.
True. Yeah, true, yeah.
But, it seems like Neil is going backwards. You know, I don't see a lot of movement forward up the grid. You know, it seemed like last year they kind of took a step back, and then this year they definitely, you know, have receded further back. And I hope this isn't turning out to be like a program for them that's basically just an advertisement for their car company, but that they're not, you know, super serious about. And you know, that might be it. I don't know how much money they're spending in comparison to the other teams. Is Formula E capped? Do they have a spending cap? I know Formula One is going to be introducing somewhat of a spending cap in the next year, I think, or so. But I can't remember if Formula E has one or not.
I don't think so. No, I think it's not yet. Yeah, it's unfortunate for Tom. It's not. Yeah, it's just not gelling. Now in 22nd, Maximilian Gunther. He has been replaced for the last couple of races with Felipe Nasr. I thought that Maxi was doing a very good job out qualifying Jose Maria Lopez, and really, I think he should have been kept in the car. He's coming back for Rome. What do you think his chances are of putting on a good performance for us? I think he's been really, really good for a rookie.
So he's changed teams now?
No, so he went back to a reserve driver role. So
okay.
they brought in Felipe Nasr.
Right.
And there's I think he's got an IMSA race on this weekend.
Yeah, Nasser's been doing really well in IMSA.
So so Maxi Gunther's back in the car.
Oh, okay. So he's subbing in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he could do well. I think this is the first year they're running in Rome, correct? So it's a new track.
No,
second year,
it's a new track. Yeah,
second year.
I think so.
Second year. Yeah. Okay. Well, if it's the second time they're running it, I don't know if he raced there the last time, so he may be at a little bit of a disadvantage, in terms of just knowing the course. But yeah, he could perform well. It's a lot of pressure, I think, because you've already lost your seat, so your confidence, I think, has gone down because you've been pushed back to the number 3 driver spot. But it's a chance for him to go out there and prove what he has. So it'll be fun to watch and see how he reacts to being relegated to the number 3. But then now he's back in the number 2 position for one race. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that.
And his replacer, Felipe Nasr, in 21st, again, Geox Dragon. Pretty uninspiring drives from Felipe. There's not much to talk about him. But we'll come on to number 20, Nelson Piquet. Now,
right.
Nelson just recently, bit of news about him being replaced at Jaguar by Alex Lynn. And I think this is a good replacement. Piquet, we talked last episode about his abysmal record of late. Yeah, I think Chris had quite a bit to talk about that. So, what are your thoughts on Nelson this season?
A lot of DNFs. It's not good, but I think he's a good driver. We saw him win the first season's championship when everybody was on, had equal equipment for the most part. So it's tough to say. I think he'll land another seat if he wants to stay in the series.
You think he'll land another seat?
I really do. I think he'll land another. But I don't think it'll be in a team that's as competitive. So I don't know if he wants that. But I think the reason they probably gave him the axe was his poor performance this season and last season, and then probably they were paying him quite a bit. And and his teammates been outperforming him, and he probably makes half what Nelson makes.
Yeah, that's true. I think Alex Lynn will probably be a bit cheaper.
Yeah, and will probably put in better performances than him because Alex Lynn looked good last season. I think. I don't think he didn't run all the races, but he ran a couple, right? And he did. I remember him performing pretty well.
He got pole in his first race.
Right.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I think I can't remember what track that was on. It was toward the end of the season, wasn't it?
I think it might have been. Now, listeners will probably call me out, but I think it was New York.
Was it? Yeah, it might have been New York. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about that. Okay. In at number 19, again, Geox Dragon, Jose Maria Lopez. Pretty poor performances, 2 points. Not really much to say here. He is constantly being outqualified by his teammates as well, so that's not a good thing. Another mark against him, I guess. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, not the greatest season, but I don't think the team's been having that great of a season either. To be frank, the car is not very competitive.
It was looking quite good for them in Riyadh. Yeah,
was okay.
They were running up the front. I think Lopez got into Super Bowl, so they seem to have slipped back. So yeah, they could have been on for some really big points. It's quite unfortunate, really. So
yeah. I mean, I have faith that team will figure it out and move back up the grid at some point. Let's see, where are they right now?
So they are dead last.
Are they dead last? Wow.
Dead last, yep. Okay. Yep. Hopefully they don't stay there. We'll move on to the new team, HWA Race Lab, Stoffel Van Dorn in 18th and Gary Paffett in 17th. Now, 3 and 4 points respectively. I think some really strong drives from both of them. I think the Venturi powertrain is coming along well, and that'll be seen further up by Eduardo Mortara and also Felipe Massa, but they're going quite well. What are your thoughts?
I love Montara. I think he's a really good driver, and I'm a fan. I'm a Massa fan, but I think he's adapting. I thought he would adapt a little quicker, but he's put in some decent performances. I mean, they have 7 points this year. It's a brand new team, and they're outperforming 2 teams that have been around since season 1. I mean, I don't know realistically if you're not a major car manufacturer like Jaguar or BMW. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good performance for your first season without a major manufacturer backing your team or being a major manufacturer entering the sport like Jaguar. So I don't know. I think they're doing pretty well. What do you think?
Yeah, Stoffel Van Dorn obviously getting pole in one of the races.
Exciting, yeah.
And that was where his 3 points came from. So it's been really, really good. I've been pleasantly surprised, actually. They just need the consistency and to not, to finish the race, first of all, but to not get caught out by the odd barrier, etc.
Yeah, Stoffel showed what he can do, right? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, his F1 stint wasn't that great, but I've seen him in Formula 3. What's the Japanese formula called?
Super GT.
Super GT.
No, or Super Formula.
Super Formula. Yeah, I've watched him drive in that series, and I've seen him perform really well, and in GP2. So it seems like he's adapted to these cars a little quicker than even Felipe did. So.
Yep. Okay. Number 16, Oliver Turvey. Not much to talk about him. He's got a few points, dragging the car where it shouldn't be by the looks of it. Felipe Massa in at 15th on 14 points. So a bit of a jump between 16th with 6 points and then Felipe with 14 points. Been a bit tough the first 3 races, not scoring anything, but he's sort of coming back in the Chinese races with 4 points and 10. So, oh no, Mexico got 4 and then 10 in China.
Yeah, he had a good race in China, and then he scored 1 point at the last race. Turvey's, I visually, like from watching the races and not having my notes in front of me and everything, I remember Oliver Turvey being at the front of the pack during the races, but he's only got 6 points to his name. So I'm thinking he's probably ran into some trouble during the races, but I think Oliver Turvey is a really good driver. I think it's a strong driver lineup for Venturi.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. Okay, we'll move on. Alexander Sims, BMW. Nothing in the first race, 12 in the second race, 6 in the third race, and then nothing. Now, he obviously could have a lot more points if they didn't get taken out.
Oh, that was just such a hard thing to watch when the two teammates were running 1-2, and they gave that whole race away.
I mean, Antonio could be well ahead right now.
He could be, yeah.
Yeah, so I think Sims has just been really unlucky. He is the Brendan Hartley of Formula E. Yeah, I think there's not much more to say about him. Now, Sebastian Buemi in at 13th with 19 points.
Yeah.
I mean, he's quick. He's being outshone a little bit by Oliver Rowland, but still having braking problems by the look of it as well. Do you think he can get up there in the next few races? It's going to be a tough ask.
I mean, he could, and typically when the pressure's off, he performs pretty well. And since he's not fighting for the championship, I mean, I could see him putting in some decent performances toward the end of the season that, will help the team and help move him up the driver standings a bit. But I don't think he's feeling the same kind of pressure when he was fighting for the Formula E Drivers' Championship. So we'll see what he does. I mean, Oliver Rowland has outperformed him this season, but he had a DNF. Was it in Mexico?
Oliver Rowland or Buemi?
Buemi. They were
DNF,
yeah. They both were. I think they were both DNF in Mexico.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. So, and they've both had DNFs twice this season. It's really the last race where Oliver Rowland really collected the big bag of his points. So I think Sebastian's been more consistent throughout the season in scoring points. He just hasn't had that big finish this season.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh well, I'm expecting good things from them this time out.
Nissan will get it. We'll get it together. I think next season they'll be more competitive.
Okay, number 11, Pascal Wehrlein. I've been impressed with Pascal. He's done really, really well.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to seeing where he can get to in Rome.
If it wasn't for the DNF he had this season, I think he'd be definitely in the top. Maybe in the top 5-ish or further up in the standings.
And that's with missing the first race as well.
Yeah, he's been super competitive. I think if I was if I was running a Formula E team, I would want him for my squad. I would definitely like him as one of my 2 drivers. So
I think the man up in front of him, same points total, Mitch Evans. I think those two would be a good pairing. And being a Kiwi, obviously have a bit of bias, but I've really enjoyed Mitch's consistency over the season. He's still the only driver to have points in every race.
Yeah, he's been super consistent. He's always up there. He's always scrapping, but he doesn't get himself into trouble. Sometimes you can't really ask much more of a driver, when you don't have the fastest machine on the circuit. So, yeah, I think he's a great talent. Formula E's a much healthier series with him in it. So, I really think the driving talent has increased so much since season 1. I think this has been one of the best seasons in Formula E by far, and I love the new car. It's awesome.
It is really cool. Okay, number 9, Andre Lotterer.
He's had a good season, and he's not
very unlucky.
Yeah, he's been unlucky. He's only 13 points away from his teammate. So, yeah, I mean, I think Andre. The crazy thing is that, I mean, I forget how many races we have left, but if you were able to string a couple of victories together, you're right there. You could be fighting for the championship, I feel like.
I feel like if Andre Lotterer wins the next race, he'll be right in the fight.
Right.
You know, it's so close up the top.
But I feel like we could say that about every person on the above Lotterer in the point standings right now, because if Daniel Lapt or Degrassi or Montara or Sam Bird get a win, they're right at the top there. And the championship is so wide open this season. It's just been great.
It is, and I think Andres drove really well. Some great defending, and yeah, it was unfortunate what happened with him and Sam Bird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, Robin Frains, how is he going? I've really enjoyed Robin. I think he's been unfortunate quite a bit, and he just needs to work on consistency, but a great driver.
I think we could say, I think he'd be in the top 3 for most improved driver of the year in the series. Maybe I would put Daniel Lapt up there. I'm trying to think of who else has really improved this season, but yeah, he's done a great job and has really outperformed my expectations for him. I would not have thought Robert Frins would be in the top 10 of the drivers' standings at this point in the season.
Yeah. Okay. Daniel Lapt, he's got points in every race as well. 2 of them only 1 point, but I guess, he's still been in the points. So, yeah, good consistent drive from him. Do you think he's in the shadow of Degrassi a little bit? He doesn't seem so confident with this car.
I don't know. I think I think his driving has improved this season. I do think that. And I think since it became more Audi than Schaeffler, it seems like he's performing better. I don't know why, but it seemed like Degrassi got, I don't want to say he got special treatment, but it just seemed like, and it's funny because Daniel's dad owns the team, right? Or did own the team the first 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It just seems now that it became officially Audi Sport that, I don't know, his performances have been better. He seems to be racing more on par with Lucas, where at times in previous seasons it seemed that Lucas was just way ahead, just much quicker on the track. So, I mean, there's only 8 points separating them, I think.
Yeah, 44 to 52.
Yeah.
So, pretty close. Mm-hmm. Lucas, he's coming into his own now. Be good to see where he can get in Rome. All right, the top 5. Jean-Eric Verne in at 53, Eduardo Mortara 53, Sam Bird 54, Jerome D'Ambrosio 61, and Antonio Felix da Costa up the top with 62. Who of those 5 can you see really fighting for the championship?
I mean, like I said earlier, I think it's wide open, but Antonio has been very competitive and consistent, and I think the BMW he's got the best car this season by far. I think had he not had the DNF in the 3rd round, he'd probably be, and then there was the race where they gave up the 1-2. I mean, he would be, I think, maybe a good 20-30 points higher in the standings right now. So as long as everything goes smoothly for the remaining rounds and he's careful and quick, I think he wins the championship. I really do. But if he has bad luck, if there's accidents or he gets collected in some sort of altercation on the track, or if there's rain, it could turn this championship completely on its head, and then it becomes like a free for all. I mean, any one of the drivers, I would say in the top 6, maybe 7 point standings, maybe you might be able to go all the way down to 9th with Lotterer. I mean, it's wide open. I forget how many rounds are left. Is there 4 races left this season?
So there's 7 races left.
7. I mean, it's wide open. That's a lot of races. So it could. I mean, if I was a betting man, if I like to look at odds and assess risk. If I was going to put money on this, I would be very nervous because I think the championship could be won by the drivers' championship. That is, for that matter, I think could go to any one of the drivers in the top 5 or even the top 10. Just depending on what happens on the track. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's like a clear advantage. I do think BMW has the best car, but in the past seasons, it's really been. It obviously Renault had the best car, and like the year before, the Techeetah was the best car in the track, and it was obvious that Jean-Eric Vergne was the man to beat. And this has been the most competitive season, I think, since season 1.
Yeah, I still think Jean-Eric Vergne or Sam Bird for the title this year.
Really?
Antonio, yeah, I do. Yeah, I've been sort of seesawing, maybe Degrassi, but I think, yeah, Jerome's awesome that he's up there, but I'm not sure if Mahindra can continue the charge. BMW, yeah, they've got a quick car.
I think they have the best. Can we at least agree that BMW has the quickest car? I would think.
I think it's probably Audi have the quickest car. But
really?
Yeah, I think so. They were slow out of the blocks, but I think they're coming good, and they now have the quickest car.
I think that maybe some tracks favor certain drivetrains more than others.
Yeah, but I mean, we could say that Nissan has the fastest car just because. I mean, yeah, I guess it is track dependent. They're very quick out of the corners, Nissan.
They are, yeah.
With that double powertrain sort of idea that they've got going on, but yeah, I reckon the Audi is still the car to beat.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then I think Lucas Degrassi sitting at 52 points right now has as good a chance as Sam Bird or Jean-Eric Vergne.
Yeah, I've been seesawing a bit over this season, but I mean, I think Pascal Wehrlein very, very quick. I just wonder if the Mahindra package can keep him ticking along. But yeah, it's very open.
We've seen the gremlin bug bite them more often than not.
Sadly, yeah.
Yeah, more often than most of the competitive teams. I feel like they get bit by the gremlin bug. So it makes me also wonder, like, if Rosenqvist had stayed at Mahindra this season, like, where would he be in this standings group right now? Would he be fighting for the championship? Because I would say that he's quicker than Jerome D'Ambrosio.
Okay. I think he would probably be up there as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Teams. Is there anyone in particular that you want to talk about? I'll give you the standings first. At the rear, Geox Dragon 2 points, Neo 6, HWA 7, Panasonic Jaguar 37, and 36 of those are Mitch Evans. Just putting that out there again. 46, Nissan Venturi 67, BMW 80, DS Techeetah 95, Audi Sport 96, Mahindra 97, Envision Virgin Racing 97. Incredible. 2 points, top 4 teams.
I know, and that's what I mean. Like, I really feel like, and with the freedom that they have now on the other parts of developing the other parts of the car compared to season 1, this has been unbelievably competitive this season. It's just been awesome. And unfortunately, John and I haven't been recording. We haven't recorded since the first race of the season, but it's just been great. I wish we were recording more so that we could have talked about these races more in detail as they transpired. But awesome season. It's been so much fun to watch. I love the new car. It definitely seems a little bit more challenging to drive. I think it's only going to get better. I think Formula E is just getting stronger and stronger as a series.
It is, and there was something that came out in the news. I think it might have been a bit overhyped, but Lewis Hamilton. There was I was chatting on Twitter briefly to one of the main people I talked to, Neil Leet, and he reckons that after the next 2 years, if Lewis Hamilton wins the next few, he'll go to Formula E. Now, Mercedes coming in, I think he'll want a strong car. What do you think? If he gets to 7, he'll equal Michael Schumacher.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he'll come over to Formula E. I don't think he'll go for number 8. I don't think he'll want to beat Schumacher. I think 7, and then he'll move over to Formula E. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that it depends on whether Lewis... It depends on how he perceives himself and perceives the sport of racing. I definitely think he wants to break Michael's records. And once he does that, he may continue to race for maybe another season or two. But he's 35 or 34 now?
Well, that's the joy of being on a podcast. we can do a quick jump cut, and you'll never know, listeners. Yeah. You'll never know. We'll be looking so intelligent here. He's 34.
34. Okay, but I mean, realistically, considering how good a health he's in, he's got at least another 6-7 seasons in him if he wants to race. As long as like Nigel Mansell raced, and another thing is perception by the public. Let's say Fernando goes and wins the Indianapolis 500 in the next couple of years, and adds that to the Triple Crown, and maybe wins a couple of other prestigious events along the way. If people start perceiving Fernando as a more diverse champion and somebody that they'll start to rank maybe above him in terms of an overall driver, it may tempt him to go and race in the 24-hour Le Mans, or I don't know if he would race the Indy 500. I mean, a lot of people are very intimidated by that amount of speed and the consequences of when things go wrong. But for him to go to Formula E, the series would need to grow, I think, at a much more rapid pace, and the rewards for being successful in Formula E would have to the money aspect to be more frank.
But I mean, Mercedes is not going to say no, are they? I mean,
Mercedes, will Mercedes want to pay Lewis Hamilton's driver salary to race in Formula E, where the payouts are huge in Formula One, right? If you're successful, and so it's lucrative for them to pay him that much money. I don't think they're going to make that kind of money in Formula E, having him drive for them and paying him the same salary that they pay him to race in Formula One. Now, in IndyCar, at the big races, the payouts are huge. If you win the Indianapolis 500, it's a huge payout, and the same thing for 24-hour Le Mans. So I see that more the pathway for him, especially 24-hour Le Mans and some of these really prestigious events. As he gets older, I don't know. It depends. I mean, some drivers have a rapid drop off once they hit a certain age. The talent level starts to fade. Villeneuve was somebody who, was so competitive when he was younger, and such a talented driver. And then there was a huge drop off at a certain point once he hit a certain age. But I don't think Lewis is going to have that kind of drop off. I think he's more like Michael, and he takes really good care of himself, and he's hyper competitive. And I don't know. It'll be racing is probably, this is the most excited I've been about just racing in general in a long time. I think there's so much talent in all the forms of racing, and I don't know. Yeah. It's in the coverage that racing's getting now because of the internet. It's a really cool time to be a racing fan.
So, Tom, another question just about the Envision Virgin Racing team, Sam Bird and Robin Fraines. That car looking very good with the Audi powertrain.
It is. It's looking really good, and they've been very competitive.
and we know Sam Bird, obviously, never the bride, always the bridesmaid,
Right.
coming second. Quite, it seems his luck. But do you think? I mean, I definitely rate him as a driver. Do you think he'll get over the line, or is it too far for a customer team?
This is his best chance to win the Drivers' Championship by far. Will he do it? I don't know. But it's definitely his best chance. And I think as a customer team, they're doing great. You know, they're sitting tied with Mahindra. Robert, like we talked about earlier, has probably having his best season ever in Formula E. And Sam is just as competitive as he's been, you know, since season 1. So, and I think the consistency's been there for him. And the car's been really great. It's been really reliable. So, you know, if you tell me at the end of the season that Sam Bird's Formula E Drivers' Champion, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, now we'll do some predictions. First of all, who will win the Verstappen European Trophy?
Sorry, repeat that?
So, listeners and a lot of people obviously forgot about this. So, for the next 5 races for the European leg of the series, there is a trophy that is provided by Verstappen.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So it's like a kind of like a European drivers like a championship within a championship kind of trophy.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So just the European leg.
Just the European leg of the series, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I talked to people about this. Chris had no idea. A couple of other people had no idea. And I started tweeting about it, and people thought,
what's he talking about?
but he's just, just imagined this up somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, this was announced at the start of the season, and haven't heard a squeak from it. So now they're back on the marketing train.
Well, I mean, my guess is it'll be, between the top 5 teams. One of the drivers from the top 5 teams will probably come away with it.
Okay.
So, I mean, you like you were saying earlier, you felt that Audi has the quickest car right now, and they've got all the bugs out of it. So maybe Degrassi takes it.
Yeah, I mean, he's 6th in the championship. I would put my money on Degrassi. Apt potentially, especially if he has one of those amazing drives like we saw at the Tempelhof, his home race last year. Just no one could touch him. So, yeah, either of those two.
I agree. I Degrassi is one of those drivers you can never count him out. And if they really have worked out all the kinks from the package, then he could easily come away with the European Drivers' Trophy. But again, there's a lot of competition. Like you said, Sam Bird's driving exceptionally well right now. Jean-Eric Vergne's driving really well.
And it's a cool trophy. Have you seen the trophy? You obviously haven't seen the trophy.
I have not. No. What's it look like?
So it's a 3D printed, very unique. It's basically this really interesting minimalist sort of V. It's a steel tech company that has done this.
Huh.
Interesting. I really like it. I'll put it in the show notes. I'll just sticky it here. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
That top part is steel, but is there glass in between the steel bars, or is it just wide open? Can't tell.
So it's made up of about 5,500 metal layers from a metal powder.
Wow.
And it measures 25 centimeters in height and weighs 156 grams. It's a one-of-a-kind trophy. Now, that is really, really light. I hope they don't, try and put it above their head and throw it just because it's so light.
Right.
156 grams. That's less than the pair of headphones you're wearing, probably.
Wow. That's amazing.
Incredible.
So there's no glass then.
No.
No glass at all. Yeah, it's a nice looking trophy. What's the V stand for? Or for Vostoppine? What is Voestalpine?
Voestalpine.
What is that? Is that a European company?
Yeah, so most of their, I'm just looking at this article here, and it says about 13 million euros in revenue is generated through the mobility market. So,
is it like Oop?
They are an e-mobility company that provides electric steering for e-motor components as well as lightweight automotive components for e-cars. So,
okay. When you said mobility, I was like, do they make mobility scooters?
I mean, I'd like to see that racing around, but yeah.
No. Okay, well that's cool. That's cool. The trophy is very nice. It's a beautiful trophy. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind winning it.
No, yeah, me either.
Okay, so Tom, thank you for all of your input today. It's been awesome to chat to you. Where can you be found?
Oh, I don't know. all over the internet.
Do you want to be found?
Yeah. No. Well, I do a comic book podcast called Pencil and Ink Reviews. We're on iTunes, and you can Google search us, and we'll come up. And we're restructuring that podcast right now, and we'll be revamping the website. I'm almost halfway done with it, and we're gonna have a new logo for our iTunes page and stuff.
Okay, so you're part of the Pod Bros network, that's correct?
Pencil and Ink Reviews isn't actually on the Pod Bros network anymore. So we're just on our own. And then I also do E-Prix Talk with John, but we haven't done an episode since I want to say that it was just the preseason episode that we did. So I don't even think we've covered a single race this year.
I actually feel like you have done a couple of races this season. Yeah, I feel like you have.
If we did, it was just round one. But yeah, I have to talk to John and see if we're gonna continue on. I feel sad about it because we've covered pretty much every race since the beginning of the series. But I don't know what's going on. John is incredibly busy. He runs a podcast network. He's promoting wrestling. He's like a wrestling promoter now, and he also has a new job which requires him to travel a lot, and so his free time is dwindled over the year. So I hope we get to keep doing the show, but if not, I hope Dean will have me back on so I can continue to commentate and bring my thoughts about Formula E to the people that are interested about the sport. So
yeah, well, there's quite a few different Formula E podcasts now. It seems to be getting a lot more popular. So if anyone's listening, yeah, Tom, he'd be a great guest, as you've heard.
Thank you. I remember when we first started E-Prix Talk, we were like, it was just like us and maybe like two other podcasts. And yeah, there is a lot more now, though, if you go search on iTunes. But Regen Racing is one of the top 5.
Oh, thanks. So we're fifth. Great. Okay. Well,
it's the best.
To be honest, I'll take it. I'll take it. It's yeah. I mean, we don't do it from a professional perspective, and we don't go to the races. So really, it is more of a fans for the fans by fans sort of look. And I think that's part of what we bring to the table. So it'll be announced. I've got an announcement on Nath and his interaction with us moving forward, and also Chris. So yeah, listen to the next episode to get that.
Maybe you'll have all 4 of us on the next episode. Might be fun if we all get together. Yeah,
that would be cool. We'll see if we can sort something out. But so we love to talk to the community, and please send all questions and show feedback to hello@regenracingpodcast.com. We can be found on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, regenracingpodcast.com, so all of the places. And we know it's annoying, but if you could please give us a rating and review, that would help, especially Podchaser. And this podcast is powered by Transistor.fm. Intro music, Danelle Armour featuring Sarah De Warren Gallery, and it is used with permission from Danelle Armour. Thank you for listening. I've been Dean.
And I'm Tom.
Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the Rome E-Prix. Bye.